Yo, what's good? I love basketball TV. Today in this video, we're getting into a full dribbling workout so you can add that shiftiness into your handle. So make sure you save this video so you can always come back to it and have a full workout at your hands. I'm Coach Meach. Let's dive into it. For the first part of this drill, we're going to remain stationary. We have 4 different dribbling exercises. For each one of these exercises, you want to do a 30-second on and then 30-second off count. So each drill will last 2 minutes because you're gonna go through 2 times. All right, so for our first drill, what we wanna do is get low with a wide base. We're going to cross the ball over. As we cross the ball over, we want to tap with that opposite hand in front of your opposite leg. So we're really working on shifting our weight and loading this leg. So when we cross over, we want to take this hand, touch the floor, load this leg. You want to make sure your chin is still up and now your chest is in a good position to be able to shift and really reach. So when you cross, you don't want to be facing straight down. You want to have that chin up. So it's cross, touch, cross, touch, cross, and touch. You want to make sure you have that wide base so you can get into your hips. Now for our second drill, we want to get into that same position. We're doing the same thing where we're loading our leg and touching that floor. We're just now taking the ball between our legs. So when we go between, we still want to tap with that chin up so we can see the floor, tap the floor. Now we're shifting our weight to the other side, getting into this hip, touching the floor on the other side. So we're making sure we tap in front of that leg so we actually reach and load that leg. So when you go between, you load this side, between, and load that side. So you want to stay low with that wide base. For our third drill, what we want to do is get nice and wide. Now when we go between our legs on this first dribble, we're going to take a partial step with this leg. So if the ball's in my left hand, I'm going to go through and take that partial step forward at the same time. Now I'm working on shifting my weight that way to shift that defender. So when I go through, I step at the same time. When I come back, I'm going to bring this foot back under me at the same time, but I don't want to go heavy on this leg, so I don't want to rest. I want to stay light. So it's through, come back, tap that foot, and I'm going again with the same thing. I'm going between, stepping forward, and then coming back. When you take your partial step forward, you don't want to step into that defender's space. You want to stay wide. So when you go through, it's a small step, but still staying wide, crossing back, and then coming back. So when you go through, it's a quick through, and then when you come back, it's slow. So that's your pace. So now you're going from fast to slow, keeping that rhythm all the way through. For our last stationary drill, what we want to do is get nice and low. We want to start off with one foot slightly in front of the other, and then we want to have our back foot slightly flared, pointing the other way. So now we're going to perform a 4 dribble crossover combination. Each dribble is going to be between the legs. So for our first between, it's through, and then we're coming back. That's the first 2, so it's a front back. Once we come back, now that next between is going to be a through, then we're jabbing with that opposite foot. After we jab, now the ball is in this hand, we're going to reset and step this foot back underneath and drag that ball underneath our leg. So what it should look like is get nice and low, front leg in front, back leg slightly flared, so it's front, back, through, jab, coming back through and replacing. So you want to make sure you keep that cadence staying nice and low. When you do your jab, so you're going through to the jab, you want to shift your weight to the side and actually load this leg. You don't want to just go between and then step outside. You actually want to shift your weight and then come back through. So now with these next set of 4 drills, we'll be actually moving up the floor. For our first drill, we're going to get nice and low with that wide base. We're going to go between the legs first, taking that partial step. As we take that between the legs and take that partial step, then we're jabbing opposite. From here, we want to step forward, so now we can go between the legs. After we go between, then we're jabbing opposite. So what we're doing is we're going through jab, walking all the way up. We're going from the baseline towards half court. So what we want to do is get nice and low. So it's through jab, step, through jab, step, through jab, step, through jab. So you want to keep that flow as you walk all the way up the floor. With this next drill, you want to start on the baseline on the edge of the lane line, and you'll be moving at an angle. So you're going to the opposite side elbow of the free throw line. So you want to get nice and low. What we're going to do is we're going to go front, back. So it's going between, and we're going to have that split stance. So as we come back, now we're going through. On this next through, we're lifting to the side. So when we land, we want to land 1-2 step with our back foot first, our front foot second. On that land with this front foot, we want to actually dig into the floor, push us forward, so now we can cross over. So now we're here, so then it's front, back, through with the lift, dig, step, cross over. We're moving at this angle from that spot to the opposite elbow all the way through. So a small tip for this drill, on your lift, when you go through and then you start to lift, you don't want to lift to the side. So you don't want to lift horizontally, you want to lift at an angle. So you want to lift towards the hip that outside hip of the defender. So when you go through, it's towards that outside hip, land in that 1-2, dig that step, now you can pull it back. So when you walk through this drill, you wanna go from one side to the other, come back through, and then you wanna switch sides, going to the other side and working both sides. For this next drill, what you wanna do is start off, get nice and low. We're performing 2 alternating between the legs. So when we go through, we're taking a small step forward, and then another small step forward. Once that ball gets back into the hand that you started with, you're gonna take a small step back so you have space to turn the ball with that hand. Now you're gonna lift to the side. Once you land, you're getting into a cross jab. From here, the ball gets into your other hand. Now you perform it going the other way. So now it's through, step back, turn and lift, land, cross jab. You're repeating that flow all the way up the floor. For this last drill, how you want to get started is getting nice and low. We're performing 2 crossovers in front, back to back. But we want to make sure our feet are matched up with our hands. So when we perform our first cross, we're taking a small step forward and we're touching the opposite side of the floor. So we're working on shifting that weight. Now when we cross back over, we're taking another small step forward. From here, now we're going between the legs, same thing, touch that floor, take a small step. But from here, we're crossing over and we're running right into a speed stop. So once you cross over, you want to take off and get into that speed stop. So from here, it's cross touch, cross back, between touch, cross right into that speed stop. Now the ball's in our other hand, so now we're performing that same thing going up the floor. So then it's cross and touch, come back, between touch, cross right into that speed stop. So remember, with your speed stop, you want to try to stop as fast as you can with an inside foot step and then an outside foot step.